At 10:04, welcome back to Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. As promised, we have Chris Mulcahy in here now because we need to talk about the weather. It is our top story in the Carolinas once again for the weekend, but this sounds a lot better than it did last weekend, Chris.
Yeah, ice causes widespread power outages, and we're lucky that we did not see that compared to Nashville, that still is about just under 20% of their power grid that still isn't working. But we could still have some intermittent power outages, but it's still not great if you're driving, plain and simple. And this is what I tell a lot of people. If we were in New York City, they have pretty much as many plows as we have people, it seems, because they're going to have a huge team. Now, that was an exaggeration, of course, but we still have a moderate to a major impact here. And I was reading this earlier about what exactly that means, and here I'm going to actually bring that up. So whenever you're under a major impact, what that means is that you are, hold on, I'll read the exact verbiage, expect considerable disruptions to daily life. And if you're adding 4 to 7 inches, and that's what we're adding here for my most recent snow total update, avoid travel if possible. Now, some people have to work, but I would not be surprised if a lot of businesses are going to shut down here in Charlotte. It's Saturday. That also helps people, that it's not as busy as, say, like a middle of a Wednesday. And by the way, the last time that we had a significant snow up to 4 inches, it was Wednesday and it was very busy, so it led to a lot of disruptions as far as traffic goes. But widespread closures and disruptions are a possibility, and that's exactly what we're looking at for the near term. So as far as our totals go, here it is. My most recent total update, I moved things around a little bit, that I think that we're calling for up to 4 to 7 inches of snow across the area. Now, one thing that's interesting is if you look further off towards the east, there's this little dip of this light blue. Here, I'll point it out. I have a tool to do that. So it's right in here. The reason why I have that is we actually have 2 weather systems that are passing by. One that dances over here, and then the other one is a coastal low, and that's why you're seeing some of the heavier totals here. But we're looking at snow for a long duration. There's 2 things that really control how much snow we get: the intensity and the duration. There's a bunch of other factors, snow ratios and stuff like that. But when you have a dry snow like what we're talking about, it gives you a much better chance for some higher totals. So overall, looking at the long term, we're going to see snow arrive after midnight tonight. And I think that we have the worst of the conditions really anywhere through the morning and through the afternoon and the evening. Now, the winds are going to turn up. And we're talking about gusts of 25 to 35 miles per hour, which I think is also going to lead to some power outages, not because of how strong the winds are, but because of trees. There are a lot of branches out there that are cracked, and you don't even realize it because a 1/4 inch of ice is still over 100 pounds in some of these branches. Some people saw up to about a 1/2 inch, which could be up to 500 pounds. So that's why I think that you're going to have a lot of down branches from pretty much the leftovers, kind of a compound interest from what we had from the ice storm. And then our power outages, if we have them later in the afternoon, heading into the evening. But drifting snow, I think, is a good possibility. And that also brings up our temperatures, where they're going to be. So we dropped down to 22 this morning. We're 32 right now. Later on this afternoon, we have 41 degrees. And then we have pretty much a mostly cloudy to an overcast sky. And then here comes the main event. So here's the timing before we get into any more details. I want everyone to know that the winds are not your friend for this event. So many times we have a nice gentle snow, it's quiet, the winds are barely blowing, it's really peaceful. I don't think that's going to be the entirety of this event. I'm not saying it's going to be howling blizzard conditions, but at times when you add more snow to the equation, you're going to have a lot of blowing snow that's going to reduce visibility. So let's get there first. By 9 p.m., you're not talking about snow here in Charlotte. I think it's overcast. I think the winds are starting to pick up a little bit at that point. Any accumulating snow is going to be right along the Tennessee border, and then it starts to expand. After midnight to the midnight heading into the following day, that's as big as our snow window could be for the Charlotte area. Realistically, I think it's anywhere from about 4 o'clock till about 8 o'clock in the evening that you see really between about 3 and 6 a.m. that snow starts to take over. However, I was mentioning that there is the possibility that we could have a division between the 2 systems. So notice over in here, you don't have as much activity. So this is the one thing I think that would change on our snow map, just depending on how much dry air is going to work in between the 2. This brings us up to 7 o'clock. At that point, we're seeing just some lingering flurries along the I-40 corridor, but our snow accumulations are starting to wind down. down, and then by about midnight, it's pretty much past and gone. We're even starting to clear things out, and that leads to a whole other boatload of problems. So 4 to 7 is the forecast range I have right now. A lot of models are showing that there's going to be some intermittent heavier totals because we're going to have what's called snow bursts or even snow squall lines that will rapidly reduce the visibilities, but you could dump up to 1 inch per hour compared to more of a quarter to a half inch that's going to be our main accumulation in the short term. It's also that fluffy snow blows around, so we could have some bigger snow drifts as well. But if this were to bust, if we have a duration cut in half, dry air takes over, our bust zone is not no snow, it's still 2 inches. So this is the best snow setup that you can have. It's called a Miller A nor'easter setup. That's where you have the best duration for snows and the most moisture that starts to move in overall. But the boom, talking about the snow jackpot, could be over 8 inches from place to place. So looking at our snow potential again, it's areas further off towards the east that you have that 7 to 9, but I think east of the I-95 corridor because you have that deep low that's off the coast. And I haven't even got to the point that coastal flooding is an issue for them. Beach erosion is an issue. You're talking about pretty much almost a winter tropical storm that's going to be off the coastline with hurricane gusts up to 75 miles per hour. The Outer Banks are going to get rocked by this system. And that's what's giving us, I think, our heaviest snow totals, that there will be some double-digit amounts in the eastern Carolinas. But for us, it's just about how intense that snow is in between for the near term. So looking at our durations, notice how those wind gusts that I was showing you before are gusting anywhere from 15 to 25 and getting a little bit higher. That's going to impact our wind chills. So looking at our 7-day forecast, here it is. 26 degrees for a high on Saturday. I think we have sunshine, but likely or just below freezing on Sunday. But I now have a low of 7 degrees come Monday. 7 single degrees. So that would actually be substantial just because of everything with the winds, with that colder air that's moving in. It's a lot of that snow cooled air. I'm going to take a step back real quick. Our snow probabilities, I showed you this yesterday, and I had one column, the first one here, 100% chance for 0.1. Now we have a 100% chance for 1 inch of snow. We have a 97% chance for 2 inches of snow. And yesterday we had about a 60-something% chance for 4 inches. Now that's up almost close to 90. And then even a 50-50 shot at 8 inches. So this continues to trend up just because about how long it's sticking around. This is a long-term snow event, which is not great for our coverage just because there's not going to be a lot of changes hour by hour. Each hour is just going to be cold and windy, but that snow is just going to be a slow trickle, and by the end, we're really going to see some of those substantial totals. So on the back end of this, what I'm really concerned about is going to be the wind chills. So that's why we already have a cold weather alert, not just for the mountains, but for the entirety of the area. So all of the Charlotte area currently is under an extreme cold watch, and an extreme cold watch is issued for the Charlotte area whenever you have a chance for wind chills to hit 0 or less, or 15 below 0 or colder for the mountains. That's exactly what we could see in the long term, which I don't like to see. So I want to go through our future cast for our wind chills. Again, this is such a tiny screen whenever I'm in here. So here's what it looks like when the kids are maybe sledding in the morning. This is 4 a.m. Most likely, I think the prime sledding time is going to be maybe around noon. The winds are actively going to be blowing. You have blowing snow. I think the kids are still going to enjoy themselves, but it's not as a winter wonderland as people are thinking, because it's actually going to feel anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees above 0, luckily. But I'm not sure about you, but being at 5 to 10 degrees for the duration of the day, this is not we're outside playing in the snow all day. It gets dangerous at that point. So I just want people to know that this isn't just this time frame. We could still feel as much as 0 to 5 heading into the Saturday evening, and that's why we have that extreme cold weather watch, because by Sunday, I think we could have wind chills around 0. Around the sun is rising up. So this is going to be the coldest part, but then also behind this, for Groundhog Day, which is Monday morning, I now, because of that snow-cooled air, have a low of 7 degrees. The record for that day is 10 degrees. The last time we were this cold, December 24th, 2022, we had a numerous amount of water main breaks. We had a bunch of water pipe breaks for people across the area. And then that's why, instead of just dripping your pipes, as I tell you so often, we have to stream. So I have a good friend named Chris Ritter, the coolest plumber you'll ever meet, by the way. And you're going to notice that his accent is not from here. I'm from the Massachusetts area. So I actually reached out to my friend Chris Ritter and said, hey, with a forecast like what we're going to have, should we be dripping our pipes? Our faucets? Should we be streaming? So my man Chris has an answer for you. Let's get to Chris Ritter.
Chris, it's your favorite Boston plumber, checking in, making sure you're staying warm, your pipes aren't freezing. Make sure if you can, you keep your cabinets open under your sinks. Keep the water running, not just a drip. It's got to be a good trickle for it not to freeze. So stay warm. Go Pats, baby. Woo!
So that was perfect. No, seriously, one of the coolest guys you're ever going to meet, but then also a great advice as well. I literally use him as my plumber card every once in a while. I was behind my fridge one time. I was like, Chris, I have no idea what I'm doing. I need your help. And he sent me the best advice ever. But in general, what I learned from Chris and kind of adjusting my own thinking, because this graphic used to say when temperatures are 28 degrees or colder for 4 hours or more, you drip your faucets. But now I have also learned, along with you, that isn't enough when you're below 20 degrees for 4 hours or more, especially if you're talking about multiple hours in the single digits that we could have. So starting on Saturday night, Sunday night, and Monday night, we need you to stream the faucets, especially the ones that are the furthest away from, say, your main water source or your hot water heater. You want to make sure those are at a solid stream. Now, yes, this is going to affect your water bill, but then this is the way Chris put it, that you could have a few extra dollars on your water bill, or you could be paying me thousands of dollars to redo your pipes. So this is the way I have to say is this is one thing I do not want people to overlook just about how cold we're going to be, because typically it's whenever you have fresh snow, brand new fresh snow, especially when we're this cold, that it makes you feel 2 to 7 degrees colder at night. So that's why Sunday night heading into Monday morning, we have a low of 7 degrees. Now, if we don't get as much snow, say it'll be closer to 10 plus, it's still going to be near record temperatures, because typically 90% of the sun's rays are actually bounced off the snow. It still will melt when sun's making contact, that 10% that does, but it has such a high albedo. That's what it's called. And then evaporation and sublimation, these are cooling processes. So sublimation, by the way, is when a solid goes to a gas. Evaporation is when a liquid goes to a gas. So that's what reduces it and reduces some of the air as well. And then record lows are a good possibility, and that's exactly what we're seeing there. So thanks to my man Chris to let us know that we're going to stream, not streaming here like what we're doing on WCNC Plus, but stream our faucets, especially on Sunday night if you're going to do it. And if you also have exposed pipes, that's going to be a good reason to do it as well. And that's why we're also staying weather alert, because that's going to be a good possibility. So cold night, drip. When it's dangerously cold, that's when you want to stream. And I don't have the exact answer for this, but Hank, one of our digital directors, said, how many hours are we going to be below freezing? It's tough to call because the sunshine could bring us up just barely above freezing, but that snow cool air is going to be tough to overcome on Sunday. But we are looking at below freezing temperatures for at least 48 hours up to 60 hours. It's pretty substantial. We'll be back above that on Groundhog Day. I have highs in the upper 30s. And then after that, we still linger teens, but I don't want to jump the gun, but we do have another chance for a wintry mix on Wednesday heading into Thursday. But as I mentioned, we're just going to ignore that one for now.
Yeah.
And focus in on the now.
One storm at a time, or wintry situation.
Yeah, and lastly, this is a really cool segment that I want to end on some fun.
Okay.
First off, shout out to Brad Panovich, because I did not have an active sled. So my producer made this Chris's Cool Dad Sledding Tips. So first time my parent had been called a cool dad. Number one, pick the right hill. The reason why I say this is if you know hills specifically, maybe you've been scouting them out, there are some hills that literally have some pipes sticking out of it. So you want to make sure that's the case. Also, I think the biggest choice here for picking the right hill is making sure what's at the bottom. Because sometimes there's a road at the bottom. And here's the deal. People are going to try to stop for you. But with the road conditions the way they're likely going to be, they're not maybe going to be able to stop. And we've also seen now 3 tragic incidences, mainly over in Texas, I think, from people trying to sled or doing sled, and sometimes even behind a car that's never recommended. But also be careful about ponds being at the end of it. I've seen a lot of big stories because for most of the areas, like in the north, that pond's frozen over. That is not the case here. Even how cold it's been, those ponds are not frozen over. And also be a pro master steerer, because you want to be able to lean and brake. You want to tuck tuck. So what I always say is be able to lean back. And that is going to increase your aerodynamics, so you'll be able to go faster, but then also know when to emergency exit, know when to bail, bro, because at that point, you know that sometimes there could be a 10 sled pileup that you want to be mindful of that and just be able to dive over, especially when it's get crowded, because I guarantee those sledding hills are going to be crowded as well.
I bet. All right, cool, Dad, Chris.
Well, thank you. First time ever.
What do you think about having to hit the road on Sunday, running errands, going to church?
NCDOT does such a great job. If you can recall, the day after the icing event, it was a lot of slushy roads, bridges and overpass still rough. The biggest thing is about areas that aren't treated in the shade, because the power of sunshine is going to melt a lot of this, and plus they're going to be putting some rock salt and other like chemical solutions on there. Don't let your pets eat any of that, by the way. That's going to melt a lot of it away. I think the bigger concerns is Sunday morning and Sunday night and Monday morning, because of those refreeze situations, especially when temperatures get in the single digits. Those solutions aren't as effective.
Right.
So you're going to have a lot more black ice. So I think the most treacherous travel is truly Monday morning, which I think it's another guarantee. CMS has been on 2-hour delays.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to be closed again
Snow
on Monday
day.
and prolonged at least remote or delays for most of next week, if not all.
All right. Yeah, sounds like it. Heard it here. Heard it first. On Live Impact News on WCNC Plus, we're going to keep you updated again tomorrow, Saturday, from 10 until 6. Special extended coverage here from the Live Impact studio, covering every step, every minute of this snowstorm heading this way. All right. Cool, Dad, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.